I found myself standing in a surreal glowing room that looked straight out of a video game, with blue tiles lighting up beneath my feet every time I took a step. The air buzzed with a digital hum, and everything felt both familiar and completely new, like I'd stepped into a dream, built from pixels and neon. All around me, floating in midair, were these strange holographic upgrade icons, one shaped like a running shoe, another like a brain, and even one that looked suspiciously like a slice of pizza. Each icon glowed with its own color, pulsing as if inviting me to choose. The rules seemed simple: step on an icon, and you instantly get an upgrade. It was like being inside a real-life power-up arcade. I couldn't resist. I tried the running shoe first, and suddenly it felt like I could sprint forever, my legs moving faster than ever, barely touching the ground. But before I could even test out the brain upgrade, this quirky guy in a bright green, big dill shirt appeared out of nowhere, grinning and holding a giant jar of pickles. He offered me one with a flourish, as if it was the ultimate prize. He seemed completely uninterested in all the glowing upgrades around him. Instead, he just crunched on pickles and even tried to upgrade one by placing it on the pizza icon, hoping for some magical transformation. But nothing happened, just a regular pickle, no superpowers, no pizza magic. He looked at it, a little let down. Still, he kept munching away, totally absorbed in his pickles, barely noticing the wild, glowing world around him. I decided to leave him to his pickle obsession and wandered over to a microphone upgrade tile that shimmered invitingly on the floor. People lined up to try it. One belted out a song like a pop star, another squeaked out a tune like a cartoon mouse. The room filled with laughter and chaos, voices echoing off the neon walls. Through it all, the pickle guy just watched, unimpressed, still crunching away, as if nothing could distract him from his snack. That's when it hit me. In this bizarre place, some people chase every upgrade they can find, while others are perfectly happy with just pickles. I started to wonder what would happen if I tried every upgrade at once. Would I become unstoppable, or just completely overwhelmed? But before I could make a move, the whole scene began to shift and dissolve, pulling me into the next strange adventure. Suddenly, the game room dissolved right before my eyes, as if reality itself was melting away, and I felt myself slipping out of that familiar space. In an instant, I found myself standing at the bottom of an endless concrete staircase, stretching up and down into infinity, with no clear beginning or end. Everything around me was gray: walls, steps, even the ceiling above. The entire world seemed drained of color, and there was no top or bottom in sight, just an infinite monochrome stairwell. I started to climb, my legs powered by the running shoe upgrade I'd picked up earlier. Each step echoed in the emptiness, until finally, I reached a heavy concrete door. On it, a warning was scrawled: "Go in, only go out when it tells you." The word sent a chill down my spine. Against my better judgment, curiosity got the better of me, and I pushed the door open, stepping inside. Inside, I found a small, square concrete room, partially lit by a single, flickering bulb that cast long shadows across the floor. The walls were covered in creepy, childlike nightmare drawings, monsters with too many eyes, strange symbols, and stick figures running from blobby, shapeless horrors. It looked like a child's fever dream scrawled in charcoal. I pulled out my phone and started recording everything, hoping I could decode the drawings later, or at least prove to myself that this place was real. The silence in the room was thick, almost suffocating, and the air felt heavy, pressing down on me from all sides. I looked around, heart pounding, and wondered if the room itself was waiting for something to happen, or for me to make a move. I stared up at the single bulb, its harsh light buzzing overhead, feeling like it was the key to whatever was supposed to happen next. The door stayed firmly shut behind me, and I waited, surrounded by cold concrete and the nightmares drawn on the walls, feeling more trapped with every passing second. Then it hit me: I could adjust the bulb's brightness, so I did, and the door unlocked, but before I could escape, it dissolved. I fiddled with my phone's flashlight, my fingers trembling slightly as I tried to pierce the darkness around me. The room felt impossibly still, every shadow stretching longer than it should. I aimed the narrow beam at the ceiling bulb, hoping for a miracle, feeling a strange anticipation building in my chest. With a deep breath, I cranked the brightness up as far as it would go, the screen glowing like a tiny sun in my palm. Suddenly, the bulb blazed to life, flooding the room with harsh, brilliant light. The darkness vanished in an instant, and the door clicked open with a soft, inviting sound. I stepped through and found myself on a sunlit hill. No concrete, no walls, just endless green grass and a wide, open sky above me. A relaxed guy leaned against a tree, soon joined by a cheerful crowd. The air buzzed with laughter and warmth, like a perfect summer picnic where everyone belonged. Just as I started to relax and let my guard down, the world around me began to twist and warp, colors bending and shapes melting. In a blink, we were transported into a bizarre room, its walls pink and fleshy, lined with enormous grinning teeth. A sign above us read, "Welcome to the Smile Room," both inviting and unsettling. The guy from the hill suddenly dove onto a strange, green, fleshy slide, grinning wildly and waving as he spiraled down into the unknown. The crowd erupted, some laughed, others screamed, their faces caught between delight and terror, as if they couldn't decide whether to enjoy the ride or run away. The entire room pulsed with a weird electric energy like a carnival gone wrong, music and lights swirling in a dizzying, chaotic dance. I realized, with a jolt, that in this dream, normalcy was always fleeting. Every time I felt safe, the world shifted beneath my feet. The Smile Room seemed to grin wider, its teeth gleaming down at us, and I braced myself for whatever strange twist was coming next. Then, everything changed again, and the dream carried me onward. Suddenly, I was floating in space, staring at Kerbin from Kerbal Space Program. In my hand, a planet editing tool. I spawned an asteroid, accidentally gigantic. It drifted toward Kerbin, eclipsing the planet, then swallowed it whole. For a moment, nothing. Then I realized Kerbin was inside the asteroid, unaffected. Then, space and time warped. A silent white flash consumed it all. The universe vanished in an instant. I felt myself dissolve, then snap back together. The end of everything. And yet, somehow, not the end. I braced for whatever came next. And just like that, I was somewhere familiar. I was back in the upgrade room. Blue tiles, floating icons, and the pickle guy, now at a whiteboard. He'd drawn a hilariously wrong diagram of the human body, with a giant pickle labeled the most important organ. The crowd burst out laughing, except for one terrified little kid. The kid screamed and suddenly the room shook. Tiles flickered, the drawing melted and cracks split the floor. The laughter turned to chaos as everything began to collapse. The room exploded in a blinding flash, louder, fiercer than before. I was thrown backward, tumbling through white light. Then I woke up, tangled in my blankets, heart pounding. Just a dream, but it felt like I'd traveled 1,000 worlds. I stared at my ceiling, wondering if I'd ever look at pickles the same way again. And somewhere I swear I heard a faint echoing crunch.